In this class, we are going to learn how to solve equation involving quadratic equation and simultaneous linear equation. Okay, let's start with the first question. We are asked to solve the equation x minus y equals to 2 and x squared plus y squared equals to 52. Okay, x minus y equals to 2 and x squared plus y squared equals to 52. Now, if you look at this equation, you will discover that the first equation is a linear equation. You understand? Linear equation involving two variables. The second equation is a quadratic equation. You understand? Okay? How do I know that the first equation is a linear equation? Because the highest power of the variable there is 1. You understand? But in this one, we have 2. That means that this is a quadratic and this is linear. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now, if you come across this question in exam, how will you solve this question? Okay, I'm going to show you two methods to solve the question. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. To solve this question, this is the first method. Okay, this is equation 2. To solve this question, I want to show you the first method now. Okay, you have to make one of the unknown the subject of the relation in the linear equation that you are given. Okay, these two equations has quadratic and linear equation. You understand? But the first equation is a linear equation, so it is easy to make one of the unknown the subject of the relation. Okay, so for the first equation, I'm going to have x minus y equals to 2. If I want to make x the subject of the relation, I'm going to have x is equals to 2 plus y, because when this negative y crosses the equals to sign, I'm going to have a positive y. You understand? If it crosses the equals to sign, I'm going to have a positive y. Now, having done this, the next step is that you just have to substitute the value of x into equation 2. You understand? Equation 2 is what? X squared plus y squared equals to 52. Now, when x is 2 plus y, so I'm going to have 2 plus y squared. You see, what I did here is that I just substitute the value of x as 2 plus y. So x is what? I substitute the value of x as 2 plus y into equation 2. This is equation 2, you understand? So I have x squared. I'm going to have 2 plus y squared. You understand? 2 plus y squared plus y squared is equals to 52. Do you understand? Okay? Now, let us open the bracket. I'm going to have 2 plus y plus y squared is equals to 52. Okay? Now, I'm very sure you are part of our previous class when we deal with algebraic expansion. There, I show you something like this. We are asked to expand this bracket. That is, if you are asked to remove the barrier a plus b and a plus b, a plus b and a plus b. Here we are going to take the first element that you have here, the first term that you have here. You use it to multiply all the parameters, all the elements in the second bracket. The first element in the first bracket, use it to multiply all the elements that you have in the second bracket. So I'm going to have a into bracket a plus b. Then the second one, which is plus b, I'm going to use it to multiply the second bracket as well. So I'm going to have a plus b as well. Do you understand? So here I'm going to have a squared plus ab plus ab plus b squared. That is what? A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Do you understand? Okay, we are still going to use the same approach here. Okay, so here I'm going to have 2. I'm going to use this 2 to multiply all the elements that I have in this second bracket. So I'm going to have 2 into bracket 2 plus y. Okay, then I'm going to use the second element, which is the second element in the first bracket. I'm going to use it to multiply all the contents in the second bracket. So I'm going to have, please pay attention, I'm going to have plus y into bracket 2 plus y as well. So 2 plus y. Do you understand? Plus y squared, okay, let me use black, plus y squared is equals to 52. Okay, so let us proceed. I'm going to have 4 plus 2y, 4 plus 2y plus 2y plus y squared is equals to 52. Okay, So let's proceed. So let us collect like terms. I'm going to have y squared plus y squared, that is 2y squared. 2y squared. 2y plus 2y, that is 4y. Plus 4y plus 4 equals to 52. Okay? Now, you can see that we have a quadratic equation now. Okay? Let us proceed. Here, I'm going to have 2y squared plus 4y. Now, I'm going to move this 42 to the left-hand side of the equation. So, I'm going to have plus 4y plus 4 minus 52. Okay? Because if the 52 crosses the equals to sign, the sign is going to change to a negative number. That will be equals to what? Equals to 0. Okay? Now, we have gotten to this point. The next step here is that you have to, okay, let us subtract 4 from 52. That will give us 48. That will give us 48. So I'm going to have 2y squared plus 4y. That's negative 48 equals to 0. Okay, so you can see that we have a quadratic equation now. Now, this quadratic equation can be reduced. You understand? We can reduce this quadratic equation by dividing all through by 2. You understand? We can reduce this quadratic equation by dividing all through by 2. So let's go. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So the quadratic equation becomes like this. 0 divided by 2 will give us 0. So there is no need. So the quadratic equation becomes like this. Y squared plus 2y minus 24 equals to 0. Okay? So we've gotten here. What do we do? How? We can solve this quadratic equation to get the value of y. Okay? You have to solve it to get the value of y. Now, it depends on you, the method that you're going to use. You understand? You can use any of the method that you are well versed with. But in this video, I'm going to be making use of the factorization method. Okay? I'm going to be using the factorization method. So let me erase this. Okay? If I want to use the factorization method to solve this equation, I'm going to think of two numbers. Don't forget, in our previous class we've done this. I'm very sure you won't find any problem solving this quadratic equation if you are part of our previous class. Okay? Now, to solve this using the factorization method, I just have to think of two numbers such that if I take their product, I'm going to have negative 24, and if I add them together, I'm going to have plus 2. What are those two numbers? Those two numbers are 6 and negative 2. 6 and negative 4. You understand? 6 and negative 4. Let's check. 6 and negative 4. 6 multiplied by negative 4 will give me what? Negative 24. And 6 plus negative 4 will give me 6 minus 4, which is equals to what? 2. You understand? You can see that the product of that two numbers give me negative 24 and the sum give me plus 2. So the two numbers that I need are 6 and negative 4. Do you understand? Okay? Now, having determined the two numbers, the next step is that I'm going to replace these two by those two numbers. Okay? So the equation becomes y squared instead of plus 2y. Hello? Instead of plus 2y, I'm going to have y squared plus 6 minus 2y minus 24 equals to 0. You see, all you have to do is just to pay attention. I first determine the two numbers such that I find two numbers such that if I take their product, I'm going to have negative 24, and if I sum them together, I'm going to have plus 2. You understand? So the two numbers are what? Plus 6 and negative 4. So if I replace this plus 2 by those two numbers, you understand? And the two numbers are plus 6 and negative 2. Plus 6 minus 2, that will give me what? Plus 6 minus 4. It should be minus 4, sorry. Plus 6 and minus 4. So plus 6 minus 4 will give me what? Plus 2. You understand? So that is what I did. I've not done anything. Okay? You shouldn't find this difficult if you are part of our previous class. That is why I always urge you to watch the previous class, because the next class is just like there is no way we talk about this class without laying emphasis on what we learned in our previous class. Okay, so if you miss some of our classes and you discover that you are lacking in an area, or you're lacking in an area, you're missing some important tips, kindly revert back to the channel. There are playlists that you can watch those classes. Okay, now let us proceed here. Let's proceed here. I'm going to have y squared. Okay, open the bracket now. Plus 6 multiplied by y, that is plus 6y. Negative 4 multiplied by y, that is negative 4y, minus 24 equals to 0. Okay, now having gotten to this point, I'm going to separate this equation into two. The first part is here and the second part is this. You understand? Okay, now I'm going to factorize each part, so I want you to pay attention. Let us start with the first bracket. What is common to y squared and plus 6y? The common term is what? Is y. So I'm going to have y into bracket y plus 6. Then what is common to negative 4y and negative 24? The common term here is negative 4. So I'm going to have negative 4 into bracket y plus 6, okay, equals to 0. Now let me give you a tips. If you got to this point and you discover that what you have in this bracket is not the same as what you have in this bracket, that means that you have made a mistake. Okay, you have to cross check. When you factorize, when you get to this step, if you are solving a quadratic equation using the factorization method, if you got to this step, what you have in the first bracket must be the same as what you have in the second bracket. Okay, so as you can see, we have y plus 6 and y plus 6 in both brackets. So I'm going to take one. So I'm going to have y plus 6 equals to 0. Then the factored, I'm going to combine both. Y minus 4. Y minus 4 equals to 0 as well. So here I'm going to have y is equals to negative 6 or positive 4 or plus 4. You understand? Because if this 4 crosses the equals to sign, the sign is going to change to positive. So these are the values of y. Now, I'm not done with the question, okay? Because the question says that we should determine the value of x and y. Okay, we should solve the equation. That means we should determine the value of x and y. So having gotten the value of y, I can easily solve for the value of x. Are you paying attention? Now let's take it step by step. When y is equals to negative 6, what would be the value of x? The value of x will be, you just have to substitute the value of y into the first equation. The first equation is x minus y equals to 2. X minus y equals to 2. So when y is negative 6, the value of x will be x minus into bracket minus 6 equals to 2. I want you to pay attention, okay? Look, y is negative 6. And the y that we have in equation 1 already has a negative. That negative is this. You understand? Okay, so I'm bringing negative 6 into this equation. That means I'm going to have another negative. That is negative 6. You understand? So let's proceed. X plus 6 equals to 2. So x is equals to, because if you take the product of a negative number and a negative number, you are going to have a positive number. So negative 1 multiplied by negative 6, that is positive 6. Because there is an invisible 1 in this bracket. You understand? At the front of this bracket. Okay, so I'm going to have x is equals to 2 minus 6. X is equals to negative 4. So when y is equals to negative 6, x is equals to negative 4. You understand? So the first is negative 4, comma, negative 6. Okay? Now, let's deal with the second aspect. Hello, you just have to pay attention, okay? It's simple. It's simple, okay? Now, when y is equals to 4, what will be the value of x? You just have to substitute the value of y into this equation as well. So x minus 2, x minus y is equals to 2. So x minus 4 is equals to 2. X is equals to 2 plus 4. X is equals to 6. So when y is 4, the value of x is 6. So the second point is 6, 4. You understand? Okay, so the value of x and y, the solution to the quadratic and linear equation is negative 4 and negative 6 and 6 and 4. You see that it's simple. Okay, this is the first method. This is the first method to solve that question. Okay, so let us let us try the second method, okay? Let us try the second method. And I want you to pay attention, okay? Now, are you done with this? I want to erase it. Okay, let me erase this. So don't forget the value of x and y that we got in the first method. We got the values are x, y are -4 and -6. So the second is 6, 4, okay? You know, I cleaned a solution here, so I just rewrite the value of x and y. The value of, when y is 4, the value of x is 6. Okay, so I have 6, 4. Now, let us approach the question using another method. Okay, second method. All you have to do is just to pay attention. Okay, the reason why I want to teach you the second method is that you might find the second method simpler compared to the first method. So you just have to choose by yourself that which method do I know. Okay, so let's proceed. Second method. Now we have x minus y equals to 2, then x squared plus y squared equals to 52. Okay, we are asked to find the value of x and y. Now I want you to pay attention. How do we solve this question using the second method? You see, this second method is technical, so I want you to pay attention. I need your rapt attention, okay? Look at this. The equation 2 can be written as, okay, you see, x squared plus y squared. This x squared plus y squared can be written as x squared plus y squared can be written as x minus y squared plus 2xy. That's why I said you must be familiar with all these difference of 2 squared. You understand? You can check. This is equals to this. If you expand this, you are going to have this. You understand? Okay? Now, what I mean is that if you expand both sides, if you expand x squared plus y squared and x minus y squared plus 2xy, you are going to have the same thing. Are you paying attention? Maybe I should quickly do that. X plus y, you know, difference of 2 squared, x squared plus y squared will give us this. And for the right hand side also, I'm going to have x minus y and x minus y plus 2xy. You see, what I'm doing is that I just want to show you that this is equals to this. Okay. Now here for the left hand side, I'm going to have x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. That would be the expansion of this. You understand? Okay. For the right hand side, we're going to have x squared. Hello, pay attention. X squared minus 2xy plus y squared. Okay, plus 2xy. Now, please pay attention. Here I'm going to have x squared plus y squared. Now, this negative 2xy will be cancelled by this positive 2xy. Hope you know that. So this will cancel this. So I'm left with what? X squared plus y squared. And x squared plus y squared is also the same thing as what? X squared plus 2xy plus y squared. You can see now. So if you expand this, you are going to have x squared plus y squared. And if you take the difference of 2 squared of this, you are going to have this. Do you understand? So automatically this is equals to this. I just prove it to you now. Now let's go back to our question. Okay. Now, having known that x squared plus y squared is equals to x minus y squared plus 2xy, the next step now is that I'm going to recall that x minus y is equals to 2. Do you understand? So I'm going to substitute the value of x minus y as 2 into this equation. So I'm going to have x squared plus y squared is equals to 2 squared. Instead of x minus y, I'm going to substitute as 2 squared plus 2xy. Okay? Are you paying attention? Okay, look at this. Another thing is that don't forget that x squared plus y squared is equals to what? 52. You understand? In the second equation, x squared plus y squared is equals to 52. So therefore, I'm going to have 2 squared plus 2xy is equals to 52. Since x squared plus y squared is equals to 2 squared plus 2xy. So an x squared plus y squared is equals to 52. That means that 2x squared plus 2xy will be equals to 52. Do you understand? Now from this point, let us solve for the value of, let us make xy the subject of the relation. So I'm going to have 2xy is equals to 52 minus 2 squared. 2xy is equals to 52. Are you paying attention? Minus 4. 2xy is equals to 48. xy is equals to 24. Okay? So call this equation 3. Call this equation 3. Now, we've gotten to this point. All you have to do now is that you just have to combine equation 1 and equation 3. You understand? You know that equation 1 is x minus y equals to 2. So let us bring down equation 1. So I'm going to have x minus y equals to 2 and xy equals to 24. Now, having gotten to this point, all you have to do is that just make x the subject of the relation. Okay? If you make x the subject of the relation in equation 1, we are going to have x is equals to 2 plus y. You understand? Okay, having made x the subject of the relation in equation 1, you substitute the value of x into equation 3. You understand? Okay, so I'm going to have 2 plus y into bracket y. Okay, 2 plus y into bracket y is equals to 24. Okay, now let us open the bracket. Please, this method is simple. Okay, I just felt you might not understand the first method. You choose the one that, this is one thing when you're dealing with exams, you just use the method. If you are not given that you use a particular method, just use the method that you know, that you are certain. Are you paying attention? That you know very well. Okay, so I'm just teaching you this method, so if you perhaps you find it more convenient than the previous method. Okay, so let's proceed. So here I'm going to open the the left hand side of the equation. I'm going to open this bracket using this y. So I'm going to have 2y. Okay, let me just roll so that there will not be any confusion. Okay, so here I'm going to have y times 2, that is 2y. Y times y, that is y squared plus y squared is equals to 24. Okay, so now I'm going to rearrange the equation in to form a quadratic equation. So I'm going to have y squared plus 2y minus 24 equals to 0. I'm very sure you understood how I got here. I just bring this 24 to the left hand side of the equation and the positive sign changes to negative sign. So now I'm going to solve this using the factorization method like we did when we got here. You see? It's even here, you can see. So I'm very sure you can solve this. We have already arrived at the same equation that we got when we solved it using the first method. So all you have to do is just solve it using the factorization method. And if you want to use the factorization method, you just have to get two numbers. Think of two numbers such that if you multiply it, you get negative 24, and if you sum these two numbers together, you're going to have positive 2, like I did in the previous method. So when you get here, just follow this step. You're going to arrive at the same answer. Okay? So I'm very sure I want to do something now. And tell me the method that you find simple, that you understand the most. Tell me in the comment section. Okay? Is it the first method or the second method? We are asked to solve the equation p plus q equals to 3 and p squared minus q squared equals to 15. Okay? P plus q equals to 3 and p squared minus q squared equals to 15. Okay? I'm going to use two methods to solve this question. Okay? Now, I want you to pay attention. In dealing with this question, the first method, using the first method now, let's call this equation 1 and let's call this equation 2. you have to make one of the unknown the subject of the relation in equation 1. In the linear equation that you are given in the question, if you come across this type of question in exam, you have to make one variable. You have to make it one unknown. You have to make it the subject of the relation in the linear equation that you are given. This is the linear equation. This is the quadratic equation. We are going to solve it simultaneously. Okay? So let's make P the subject of the relation in equation 1. So I'm going to have P is equals to 3 minus Q. That is it. Now, having made P the subject of the relation in equation 1, I'm going to substitute the value of P as 3 minus Q in the quadratic equation, which is the second equation. Okay? So the equation becomes like this. Instead of P, I'm going to have 3 minus Q. So I'm going to have 3 minus Q squared. Do you understand? Minus Q squared equals to 15. Okay? Now let us expand the bracket. This I'm going to have 3 minus Q and 3 minus Q. Minus Q squared equals to 15. Okay? Now let's open the bracket. I'm going to have 3 into bracket 3 minus Q. Then minus Q into bracket 3 minus Q. If you are part of our class on algebraic expansion, you should be able to expand easily. Okay? So here I'm going to have minus Q squared equals to 15. Okay? Now let's open the bracket. 9 minus 3Q minus 3Q minus, plus Q squared. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times negative Q, 3Q. Oh, 3 times negative Q. That will give me this. Negative Q times 3, that is negative 3Q. Negative Q times negative Q, that is positive Q squared. Minus Q squared equals to 15. Okay? Now, this is positive Q squared. Okay? This is positive Q squared. Let me use the blue marker to identify that. This is positive Q squared. Okay? Now, we can collect like terms. Since we have gotten here, we can collect like terms. This positive Q squared, we cancel this negative Q squared. So I'm left with what? 9 minus 3Q minus 3Q, that is minus 6Q equals to 15. Okay? Wow, what an amazing equation. Okay? Now, if you take this 9 to the other side of the equation, we are going to have negative 6Q is equals to 15 minus 9. Okay? Negative 6Q is equals to 15 minus 9 will give us, that is 6. So I'm going to have 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. So Q will be equals to negative 1. Okay? So the value of Q is negative 1. Now, having gotten the value of Q as negative 1, what will be the value of P? To get the value of P, all you have to do is that you just have to substitute the value of Q into the linear equation that you are given. Okay? So, you know P is equals to 3 minus Q. P is equals to 3 minus Q. So, when Q is minus 1, so P will be equals to 3 minus 1. Okay? P is equals to 3 plus 1, which is equals to 4. So P, Q is equals to 4, minus 1. Okay? So that is the solution to that simultaneous quadratic linear equation. Okay? Now, let us use the second method to find the value of P and Q. Okay? I want you to pay attention. If you want to use the second method to find the value of P and Q, you have to first take the difference of 2 squared. Okay, second method. We are asked to solve P plus Q equals to 3, then P squared minus Q squared equals to 15. Now, if you want to solve this using the second method, you have to take the difference of 2 squared of the second equation. This is the first, and this is the second. Okay, the difference of 2 squared for P squared minus Q squared is what? P squared minus Q squared is equals to P plus Q and P minus Q. You understand? Okay? Are you paying attention? Now, recall that P plus Q is what? 3. So you are going to have P plus Q is equals to 3 from equation 1. You understand? From equation 1, P plus Q is equals to 3. You see, if you express p squared minus q squared in as a difference of two squares, you're going to have p plus q and p minus q. You understand? Okay, if you open this bracket, you're going to arrive at this. Now, don't forget, in the equation we knew that p plus q is equal to 3, so I'm going to substitute the value of p plus q as 3. So the equation becomes, p squared plus q squared is equals to 3 into bracket p minus q, because p plus q is equal to 3. So I replace p plus q, which is here, as 3. Are you paying attention? Okay, now, so since I know that p squared plus q squared is equals to 3 into bracket p minus q, and from the question we've been given that, it is negative here, so this should be negative. This should be negative. The sign here should be negative. You understand? The sign that we are given, the sign, I express this, I bring this to this place. You understand? So the sign should be negative, it's not positive. Okay, so now, since you know that p squared minus q squared is equal to 15, and p squared minus q squared is equal to 3 into bracket p minus q, definitely 3 into bracket p minus q will be equal to 15. You understand? Because p squared minus q squared is equal to 15. Are you paying attention? Now, from this point, you are going to divide both sides by 3. You understand? So this by 3 and this by 3. So p minus q is equal to 5. You understand? Okay. Now we have gotten the value of p minus q as 5. Now let us call this equation 3. Call this equation 3. Now combine equation 1 and equation 3. So I'm going to have equation 1 is p plus q equals to 3, and equation 3 is p minus q equals to 5. Now we can easily eliminate q by adding both equations. So if you sum both equations, we are going to have p plus q minus q is equals to 3 plus 5. You understand? Okay, I'm going to have 2p now plus q minus q will give us 0. So I'm left with what? 2p is equals to 8. So here 2p is equals to 8. Divide both sides by 2. This over 2 and this over 2. Please, do you understand what I'm doing? If you didn't understand, kindly listen to the explanation again, okay? So divide both sides by 2. Here I'm going to have p is equals to 4. Okay, because 8 divided by 2 will give us 4. Do you understand? Okay? Now, having gotten the value of p as 4, you can easily get the value of q by substituting p into any of the equation, either equation 1, equation 2, or equation 3. So let's make use of equation 3. You know, in equation 3 we have p minus q is equals to 5. Now when p is 4, so I'm going to have 4 minus q is equals to 5. Now minus q is equals to 5. If this 4 crosses the equals to sign, the sign which is positive is going to change to negative. So I'm going to have, if it crosses the equals to sign, the sign is going to change to negative. So I'm going to have minus 4. So minus q is equals to 4. I'm looking for q, I'm not looking for minus q. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1 to eliminate the minus that is at the coefficient of q. So divide both sides by minus 1, this over minus 1. So q is equals to negative 1. So p comma q for this equation as well is what? 4 comma minus 1. Do you understand? So you can either use any of the method. Okay? You can use any of the method. But I want to do something now. Tell me the method that you find most interesting. The one that you understood the most. Is it the first method or the second method? Let me know in the comment section, okay? That is all for this class. See you in the next class.